Sukhi Hotu, a very good evening and a warm welcome to Buddhist Mahavihara's Facebook page. Tonight in the Dhammadana series, we have joining us live from Sri Lanka, Bhante Katagoda Pesala Thero. Bhante will be sharing about the Dhammapada chapter 1, verse 15. I will introduce Bhante to the screen now. Good evening, Bhante.
Good evening. Hope I can hear you clearly.
Yeah, we can hear you. So, before Bhante start the session, I will share about Bhante. A small intro. So, Bhante Katagoda Pesala Thero was born in Valimada, Sri Lanka on the 14th of July 1987, and he completed his formal education at the Central College, Valimada. He then served as an officer in the Sri Lankan Army and also obtained a diploma in hospitality management. He changed his path towards spirituality and developed a keen interest in learning Buddha's Dhamma. This noble aspiration made him join the Buddha Sasana and becoming a Buddhist monk under the tutelage of Venerable Mankadevela Sudassana Thero, Venerable Mankadevela Nandaratana Thero, and Venerable Kotmale Kumara Kassapa Thero at the Labunoruwa Kanda Aranya Senasana, where he started studying the Tripitaka and the Pali language. He received his higher ordination in 2020. And as a resident monk at the Labanorokhanda Aranya Senasane, he currently takes part in Dhamma discussions, preaching monastery activities, and furthering his studies in Dhamma towards gaining a deep knowledge and understanding in Buddha's teaching. So now I would like to hand over to the studio to Bhante to start today's session.
Okay, thank you very much for having me. Teruvan Sarnai to all the Dhamma friends. Good evening, brothers and sisters of Dhamma. It's a great pleasure to meet you all and to talk to you about and discuss Dhamma, the noble teachings of our great teacher, Supreme Buddha. So, after the talk, I will be very happy to answer any of your questions. So, without much ado, let's begin by paying homage to the Samma Sambuddha. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddham Dhammam Sangham Namassami. May my homage to the Blessed One, the worthy Dhamma, and for the Maha Sangha. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dear Dhamma friends, today we are going to discuss 15th verse of the Dhammapada, first chapter. So far, we have already been discussed 14 verses, and today the verse as follows. In Pali, it is like this. Idha sochati, peccha sochati, papakari ubayatha sochati, so sochati, so vihanyati, disvakamma kilittha mattano. So the meaning of the verse is that idha sochati. Idha sochati means the evildoer suffer or grieves here. Peccha sochati means hereafter. Hereafter the moment of performing of the evil deed and also within this life after that incident and also the after that death also he has to suffer. That's what meant by the pecha sojati. Papakari again, the evil doer. Ubhayatta sojati mean in both the occasion he has to suffer. And it again says so sojati meaning he suffer further, he further suffering more. That's what it indicate by the word so sojati. And also another term so vihanyati. Vihanyati means he experiences not only the suffering, all the afflictions and difficulties he get as the results of that bad evil karma. So sochati so vihanyati diswa kamma kilitta mattunu. By seeing his evil activities, by witnessing his evil past activities, he again further, he again suffers. Diswa, by seeing the, as I explained, by seeing those bad activities. So that is the meaning of the verse. So the story which relate to this verse, it's very famous, and most people already aware of this person. Uh, it's about Chunda Sukara. Chunda means his name, and Sukara is a term, Pali term, which meaning of that is the pork butcher. Sukara mean another name for the pig, and since he is killing lots of uh, pigs here, so he named as Chunda Sukara, pork butcher Chunda. So it has happened while residing our great teacher Supreme Buddha, while residing in the Veluvana monastery at Rajagaha. Our great teacher has made this utterance, made this has uttered this verse with reference to this pork butcher. This pork butcher is not like the other butchers. He's quite peculiar and quite different because uh, he used so many ugly ways and pathetic ways to make them suffer, make innocent animals suffer. So initially, he is a farmer. He used to cultivate paddies, and once he reaped the harvest, he used to sell them to the people. And once he earned some returning on that harvestings, then he used to buy the piglets, the small pigs known as piglets. So he used to buy piglets, and he brought them back to the home, and there is a separate court in the backyard of the house, and he used to nurture them and feed them. And once those animals get matured enough, he used to torture them and he used to kill them. Not like the other butchers. Normally, as butchers, they use kind of ways to immediately and quickly they try to kill the animal, but this person is not like that. Initially, he what he has done was, he's with the to a post, he used to tie these animals very firmly, by making the animal motionless and immovable, so the animal cannot move. So at that time, he take another square shape rod and iron rod, and he used to beat the animal continuously. By doing so, he expecting to tender the meat, or the soften the flesh of the animal. So while screaming, while grunting, the animal, he just continuously used to hit the animal. After so much of suffering, the animal, again he uses another steel pipe, and he used to insert that pipe through the mouth up to the belly of that animal. And again he used to take hard boiled water and pour the water inside the belly of the animal. Initially, when he pour in the water, the undigested food and also the feces which remains inside the body of the animal uses to come out from the back. So until the clean water comes out from the back of the animal, he uses to continuously pour the boiling water. So that, just imagine if something happened to you like that, then the pain you experience. So still the animal alive. And not only that, after doing so, he take the remaining boiling water and take all the water and pour over the body of the animal. By doing so, he tries to de-skin, or the remove the skin, because when we pour over boiled water onto a skin, that skin gets smooth and it will be easy for us to remove the skin. By doing so, that animal, we can easily remove the skin. Still the animal is alive. So after giving this much of pain, at the end he just, by using a sharp knife, he used to cut the neck. And he was collecting all the oozing blood of the animal, and he used to uh, bake the meat. And with his family members, he used to share the meat and eat them, and the rest he uses to sell to others. In that way, he used to maintain his livelihood, this particular person. The Our great teacher Samma Sambuddha, he was living just adjacent to his home. As a neighbor, this person unable to go to the Buddha and offer a little kind of a thing, at least a flower, he couldn't able to offer to our great teacher. And also he couldn't able to listen any kind of dhamma, and he was unable to perform any kind of dana, at least by giving a spoonful of rice to the Buddha or the Sangha. So this is kind of a very important thing. Like, people mostly think that they do lots of merits nowadays and perform lots of, we call in Pali and in Sinhala we call pinka, mean lots of meritorious activities, meritorious deeds, which they think that they will provide much merits. They expecting much merit, they do kind of these kind of wholesome activities without knowing the essence of the Dhamma, and they expecting to be born in front of the Buddha. Just imagine, in Buddha's time, there were so many disciples who have achieved the enlightenment, and also the at the same time there were so many disciples also, and not only the disciples, there were so many people, even by meeting the Buddha, they were unable to take the essence of the Dhamma. They were unable to identify our great teacher. So this is one of the best example, this Tunda Sukara. So he has continuing this cruel and wicked activities, not only for just few more days or few more years, for a continuous 55 years. He was continually doing this thing, and bhikkhus who were going here and there, uh, observing this incident. And at one day, uh, within his house of this Tundasukara's home, bhikkhus heard a huge screaming, grunting, and it was not like the previous days. It was so much. I mean, the intense is so much. Grunting noise is so much. So then the bhikkhus came to the Buddha and reported the matter to the Buddha. Our great teacher, the Buddha, Venerable Sir, in Chunda's house, we could hear so many grunting and squealings. Not like the previous day. We think there may be a festivities going on inside the home. That's why he's trying to kill much more animals. At that time, Buddha said, that is not the sound of the animals or the pigs that squealing or the screaming or the grunting. That is this Tunda Sukara himself is screaming, because throughout the 55 years he has committed lots of demerits, lots of sins by killing and by by torturing these innocent animals. So at the end, he was about to be born in Avicii hell. So I will explain you the meaning of the Avicii. So that's why at the last stage of his life, for continuously 7 days, he was suffering like a pig. He was kneeling and crawling back here and there by using his hands and knees like a pig, and squealing and grunting like a pig, tremendously pain. And Buddha said to the monks that, venerable monks, within another 7 days time, this cruel person will be died and will be born in the hell. So some people may question that there may be a doubt that how it can happen while living as a human being. How can we experience the pain of the hell? So one can ask me that, because we all are uh, nowadays scientific oriented, and we cannot prove them like the scientific experiment. So it is like this. Suppose when you are about to, when you are going before a fire, at that time, before you go to the fire, you can experience the heat. Similarly, the the one who has done so many evil karmas during this life, if uh, they were be reborn, they were about to be reborn in the hell, at the end of their lives, they can experience the pain of the hell, like that of, if one goes before a fire, he can experience the heat even before touching the fire. So similarly, even before reborn in the hells, he can experience the hell heat, the heat of the hell, the paining of the hell, the suffering of the hell. That's what happened to this particular Chunda Sukara, or the pork butcher Chunda. So then the monks asked from the Buddha again, how would it that happen, Bhante? Because he's so much of suffering. How can he suffer in the next life? So at that time, with that incident, our great teacher made this utterance, or the verse as Ida sochati, peccha sochati, papakari, ubayatha sochati, so vihanyati, diswakamma kilittamattano. It's kind of a very beautiful and meaningful verse. Ida sochati means the evildoer, he suffers here. Pech Sojati. He suffers hereafter, and people may think that the people who are performing evil activities, they may think that, okay, we can do any kind of evil activities. We are not experiencing any pain at present, because we can see that we can observe in the society, in the world, there are some people doing lots of crimes, but still they are not experiencing much pain. But it is like in my country there's a folk going on within the society. It says, uh, suppose if you try to cook kind of an animal in a pot by using cool water, and if you put on the fire, and if you keep continuously boiling it, at the beginning, when the cool water becomes heated up, it gives us a pleasuring. I mean, it's a kind of a comfort. But when it begins to boil, at that is the time we begin to pain, we begin to have the suffering. So similarly, the persons who are doing the evil kind of activity, at the beginning it seems like we don't have much suffering, but it is just the beginning of having the suffering. And if you deeply go with the Dhamma, it says that the hate or the anger, this kind of defilements known as fire. That means when you put your finger into a fire, you will get burns. So similarly, uh, if you have the courage, if you have the defilements, if you can kill an animal, there definitely that there must be have some kind of anger. So that anger is a fire, so that will burn you, but you don't feel it at the beginning. That is because the Buddha said, suppose you are having a itchiness in your skin. When you are having itchiness, when you itching your skin with the place of disease, when you used to itch, at that time you feel kind of a happiness, kind of a pleasure, but actually it kind of a disease. Similarly, when we perform evil activities, at the beginning it seems like it gives us kind of pleasure, but after when the results come, it not coming just If it is a not much hardest one, it is the to reap the result, to take the harvest of the bad karma, it takes some time. So in to understand more about these how these karma process happening, I would like to give you an simile. Suppose if you take before going to that, all the Buddha's Dhamma we can categorize into one tiny verse, one single verse: Sabba Papa Sakarnam Kusala Supasampada Satitta Pariyodapana. So the Buddha said, all Buddha has declared that we should avoid all the evil activities, Sabba Papas Sakarana, and also Kusalassu Upasampada. We have to perform all the noble activities. Sakitta Paryodapana. We have to cleanse our mind. So that is the meaning of the that is the simple meaning of all the Dhamma. If someone asks what is Buddhism, within just by using this stanza itself, we can answer that question. So the first thing is to getting away from our mind from the evil activities. So when you are having the evil mind, and when we are about to perform evil mental activities, evil verbal activities, evil physical activities, kaya kamma, mano kamma, vachi kamma, physical activities and verbal activities and mental activities. So so when we have one activity, just imagine if I now I am begin now I have anger, suppose. It is the simile is says that it is like suppose you about to plant a seed on the ground. Suppose in my country there are some, we call in my language we called it kohomba. Kohomba mean in English it translated as magosa. So margosa tree is a kind of a the fruits of margosa, it gives us a very bitter taste. It's so much of bitter. Even the root, branches, leaves, everything is so much bitter. So at the beginning we plant only a tiny single seed, but after 5 to 10 years time it will produce, it will gives us the harvest as millions, multitudes of seeds. Not only within 1 or 2 years, throughout the life of that margosa tree, maybe it remains for about 50 to 60 years. Throughout that lifetime it produces the margosa seeds, maybe millions. You have grown only tiny one seed. So that is the meaning of, I mean, at the beginning it seems like very tiny thing, very little thing, but the results is when the results comes, it gives us gives us the consequences in multitude. So that is the way of actually, I mean, the karma works. And luckily, if you can avoid the unwholesome activities, and if you can convert, if you can perform the wholesome activities, the wholesome activities also give the same. It gives us the simile that when you plant a mango tree, that it gives you the beautiful and pleasant taste. When you have the when you take a mango as a fruit, when you eat, at the time of eating, it gives us a very pleasant taste. So similarly, at the beginning it just one seed, but when it matured after 5 to 10 years time, when it begins to gives us the harvest, it gives in multitudes. It gives us the millions of mangoes. So similarly, as I said, when you perform evil activities, the consequences also coming in multitudes. And at the same time, if you perform a wholesome activity, kusala karma, the results also will be the same. The results will be also the coming in multitudes. So as a Buddhist followers, we have to understand our mind, and that's why we need to practice sila samadhi prajna. When you at least When you, if you can at least maintain the five precepts, then you can proudly say as a Buddhist. But as a follower, if you cannot at least maintain the five precepts, then actually you cannot declare as Buddhist. So when you observing five precepts, you are already on the first stage. That means you are already uh, performing, removing evil deeds from your life. So if you want, and at the time, if you truly according to your heart, if you practice that, you begin to see how much happiness you get by doing so. And you have to further develop your by maintaining the five precepts. Not only you are collecting merits, not only you are avoiding defilements, not only you are avoiding bad karma, also you are practicing mindfulness. Some are always trying to practice mindfulness without sila, so that cannot be done. When you practice sila, it enhance your mindfulness. Because suppose if mosquito bites you, at that time, if you are not aware of your bodily activities, and if you are not aware of your mind, suddenly without no time you try to just hit the animal. But if you are observing precepts, and if you are mindful, then at the beginning, when the mosquito appears on your body, then maybe from inside your mind anger will arise, but you are not going to hit him, because you know that you have observed the five precepts. Similarly, preserving five precepts give you so many benefits. Uh, the Not only the mindfulness, there are basically, Buddha said, five benefits you can get once you practicing these five precepts. So you can have the happiness, mean, you will get materialistic wealth, and also your fame will be recognized by the good people in the society. And you have the confidence to go to a group of people and talk. And when you are, if you're having the fear of death, if you maintain the five precepts, it said that very confidently you can face the death, because you know that from your inside, from your mind, that you have spent you have spent your life as a great human being, because you have been practicing sila for a long period of time. So in that way you can practice sila, and further you have to perform dana and bhavana. And ultimately, uh, by just stuck only to the sila, it's not the way of the real Buddhist. You try to go deeper into the Buddhism. And go deeper into Buddhism means you find the true happiness of the life. Because uh, that is the ultimate meaning of the Buddha. So this chance, you don't need to be meet you don't need to wait until another Buddha will appear to this world. Still our Gautama Buddha, his teaching well preserved. And when we go through the Dhammapada, and when we go through the other sutras and other commentaries, and when we study them, and we begin to see that we can experience, we can gain, we can attain those happiness within this very life. So my request and my advice for all of you to try to gain that happiness. Because suppose, just imagine a person going to a bar and having some drinks. By doing so, he also expecting kind of a happiness, kind of a pleasure. But the problem is that he's whether he's getting that pleasure or not, that is the problem. He's not getting that pleasure. He's not getting that true pleasure, because after that intoxication, again he has to face the truth of the life. So similarly, he also has a kind of a purpose to doing that kind of a whole unwholesome activity. Similarly, as Buddhists, we also have a noble purpose. What is that purpose? Just to find our happiness. That's why Buddha, as Prince Siddhartha, left behind each and every happiness. He had all the luxury as a king. He could have controlled all the earth as a, it says, universal monarch. So he had that ability, but he left behind everything. Why? Just to find happiness, and he found the happiness and he shared with us. That is called the Nibbana. So we can all have that chance in this very life. So since that the experiencing of Nibbana is known as Lokottara. Lokottara means it is beyond the world. So that's why people, when we talk about these subtle and deep Dhamma factors, people won't understand because it doesn't talk about the worldly things. Suppose the people who are in the world, uh, when they have much things, they get happy, they get much happiness. But the people who are in the Dhamma, the vice versa, when they detach something, when they giving up the things, that the thing that make them happy. So it is just controversy. I mean, it is the opposite of the worldly things thinking. So that's why most people uh, unable to understand this Dhamma. But anyway, let's try to, in future sermons, we'll discuss with Dhammapada verses, and by connecting some sutras into the Dhammapada, we'll discuss deep some Dhamma factors. And with that, I would like to conclude my Dhamma sermon. And if you have any question, I'll be pleased to answer your questions.
Thank you, Bhante, for sharing today's Dhamma. So far we haven't received any question. So, uh, Bhante can start the Anumodana for the Devas and the
Okay,
departed
okay,
beings.
okay. Since there is no question, I am winding up the sermon. So before that, let's do Anumodana. First of all, I would like to remind and share all the merits to my teachers. Especially, I would like to remind them, Venerable Man Kadavil Sudassana Thero and Venerable Man Kadavil Nandathan Thero, and also Venerable Kotmali Kumara Kassapa Thero. I would like to share all these Dhammadana merits to my teachers, and may they be well, be happy, and may they find the ultimate peace of Nibbana. And also, I would like to thank Miss Sister Udyani and Brother Tilak and staff of the BMV, and also especially the sponsors of today Dhamma Talk, and all the participants in person as well as and online, and all the sentient beings may share these merits, and all of them be well, be happy, and may find the ultimate peace of Nibbana. එත්තාවතාච අම්මෙහි සම්පදං පුඤ්ඤ සම්පදං සබ්බේ දේවා අනුමෝදන්තු සබ්බ සම්පත්ති සිද්ධා සබ්බේ භූතා අනුමෝදන්තු සබ්බ සම්පත්ති සිද්ධා සබ්බේ සත්තා අනුමෝදන්තු සබ්බ සම්පත්ති සිද්ධා. And also, let's share the merits with our dear departed relatives and friends. ඉදම් මේ ඥාතිනං හෝතු සුඛිතා වന്തു ඥාතයෝ ඉදම් මේ ඥාතු නං හෝතු සුඛිතා වന്തു ඥාතයෝ ඉදම් මේ ඥාතිනං හෝතු සුඛිතා වന്തു ඥාතයෝ. All the departed relatives may attain these merits, and may they find the happiness and the blissfulness and the peace of Nibbana. And ultimately, at the end, I would like to bless you all with infinite noble triple gems, by worshipping, receive your blessings. අභිවාදන සීලිස්ස නිච්ඡං වද්ධාපචායිනෝ චත්තාරෝ ධම්මා වඩ්ඩಂತಿ ආයුවන්නෝ සුඛං බලං ආයුආරෝග්‍ය සම්පatti සග්ග සම්පatti මේවච අතෝ නිබ්බාන සම්පatti ඉමිනාතේ සමිජ්ජතු. Thank you very much. I shall see you all in the next session. Teruvan Sarnai. Good night to everyone.
Thank you, Bhante. And today now we have come to end of today's Dhammadana series. Before we end the Facebook Live, I would like to thank Bhante on behalf of the committee, the monks, and the management of the Buddhist Mahavihara. And also a very big thank you for everyone who joined this evening and listened to Dhamma sharing. Thank you, Sukhi Hotu.
Sukhi Hotu, everyone.